Today, I'm going to share with you 3 special stories. Each story is accompanied by a haunting image or video. They will make you shiver but also be incredibly captivating. Before we begin, if you love mysterious, strange, and sometimes dark stories, you've come to the right place. This is where, every week, we take you into the world of mysteries told through vivid stories. If you find this interesting, don't hesitate to take a moment to hit the like button. That lets us know you love this content. And don't forget, sneak into our virtual house, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss the fascinating videos we post every week. Now get ready, because we're going to start exploring 3 fascinating stories today. On the evening of December 29, 1986, on Interstate 15 in San Diego, California, a seemingly routine patrol became the center of a haunting cautionary tale. Off-duty highway patrol officer Craig Pye was driving his cruiser with 2 unusual passengers, an NBC News reporter and a cameraman in the back seat. They were preparing to film a segment on road safety, scheduled to air on the evening news. As the patrol car approached the Mercy Road exit, Officer Pye pointed gravely toward a deserted road. He told the news crew that more than 36 hours earlier, the area had become the scene of a horrific murder. The body of Kara, a 20-year-old college student, had been found strangled to death in a nearby creek. According to the initial investigation, Kara was on her way home from her boyfriend's house when, either due to car trouble or the intention to help someone, she stopped at this dead end. That moment became a tragic fate when she encountered a dangerous person who took her life. The incident is not only a heartbreaking tragedy, but also a serious warning about the risks of having to stop on freeways, especially in deserted places. This is the reason why the California Highway Patrol and NBC News collaborated to produce this segment. Through Kara's story, they hope to raise awareness of the potential dangers of traveling on freeways, especially at night. In a conversation with the news team, Officer Pye emphasized that one of the most dangerous situations a road user can encounter is not an accident, but being forced to stop. It could be due to a mechanical failure, running out of fuel, or even stopping to assist others. But every stop, especially in remote areas, carries a high risk of being attacked, robbed, or even murdered. The message from this incident is clear. Always be alert and prepared when traveling, especially on deserted highways. Kara is not only a victim, but also a sobering reminder to everyone about the importance of protecting yourself on your daily journey. As the patrol car approached the Mercy Road exit, the flashing hazard lights of a car on the side of the road immediately caught Officer Craig Pye's attention. He turned to the news crew and said, in a serious but not undisguisedly excited tone, "This is the perfect opportunity for us to demonstrate in real time how to handle a car breakdown on the freeway." He slowly stopped the patrol car behind the broken-down car, turned on his hazard lights to ensure safety, and then walked toward the broken-down car. The news crew wasted no time, recording the entire situation on camera. The driver, a middle-aged man with a worried expression, got out and explained the situation. "My car ran out of gas in the middle of the road. I walked to the nearest gas station to buy some, but when I returned to put it in, it still wouldn't start." Officer Pye nodded, keeping his composure, and explained, "I understand your situation, but leaving your car and walking alone on the highway like that is very dangerous. Not only is there a risk of being hit by another car, but you are also an easy target for bad guys. Next time, if you encounter a similar situation, please call for help from roadside assistance or the patrol police." Officer Pi then quickly called for a tow truck to assist the man. While waiting for the tow truck to arrive, he continued to instruct the driver on how to safely handle a similar incident. Always turn on your hazard lights, stay in your car if possible, and call for assistance or the patrol police immediately. This will help minimize unnecessary risks. When the tow truck arrived, the driver thanked Officer Pi profusely for his help. Officer Pi just smiled, wished him safety, and returned to his patrol car to continue his mission. During this time, the news team recorded the entire incident, adding a real-life example to the road safety segment. These footage not only served to warn people about the dangers of the highway, but also emphasized the importance of handling an incident calmly and properly. That evening, the news segment not only attracted attention, but also received positive feedback from viewers, reminding people that being prepared and aware of highway safety can save their lives in the most dangerous situations. That evening, just in time for the NBC News broadcast, a minute-and-a-half-long clip of Officer Craig Pi's work was shown on the screen. In the clip, Officer Pi spoke clearly and convincingly about the potential dangers of stopping on the highway. He emphasized, "Do not leave your car unless help arrives." Walking on the highway is not only dangerous, but can lead to other unforeseen situations. Stay in your car, turn on your hazard lights, and call for backup. The image of Officer Pi, with his firm voice and calm demeanor, made the audience not only feel confident, but also aware of the urgency of the message. The short clip, though simple, completely conveyed the message of safety. However, no one on the news production team or those watching the show could have predicted that the footage would quickly transcend its original purpose and become a vital key to solving Kara's murder. That evening, just in time for the NBC News broadcast, a minute-and-a-half-long clip of Officer Craig Pi's work was shown on the screen. In the clip, Officer Pi spoke clearly and convincingly about the potential dangers of stopping on the highway. He emphasized, "Do not leave your car unless help arrives." Walking on the highway is not only dangerous, but can lead to other unforeseen situations. Stay in your car, turn on your hazard lights, and call for backup. The image of Officer Pi, with his firm voice and calm demeanor, made the audience not only feel confident, but also aware of the urgency of the message. The short clip, though simple, completely conveyed the message of safety. However, no one on the news production team or those watching the show could have predicted that the footage would quickly transcend its original purpose and become a vital key to solving Kara's murder. Kara's case has attracted a great deal of public attention, especially after Officer Pi's video footage was released. Young women in San Diego who had experienced frightening situations on dark streets immediately recognized a detail in the video that could be related to the dangerous man they had encountered. On the fateful night of December 27, 1986, Kara left Interstate 15, took the Mercy Road exit, and stopped at a dead-end street, which would later become the crime scene. What was frightening was that Kara was not alone in this dangerous situation. Several other women in the area had encountered a man with unusual and disturbing behavior in nearby locations. This man not only followed them, but also tried to attack or lure them into dangerous situations. These new testimonies paint a horrifying picture. A dangerous predator has been operating in the area for a long time, and he may very well be the one responsible for Kara's death. The detail the women recognized from Officer Pi's video could be a crucial link in helping police identify the killer. The question now is, what in the video made the women so certain? Was it the man's gait, his voice, or an object in his car? San Diego police now not only have more witnesses, but also have to review similar incidents that have occurred before to find a connection between Kara and the real killer. Police quickly began investigating after receiving information from the calls. The clues provided led them to a mysterious surveillance video showing a man behaving erratically. Investigators immediately focused on verifying the man's identity, combining data from Kara's crime scene with information from witnesses. With relentless efforts, the police pieced together the story. Fingerprints found on Kara's car and shoe prints at the scene matched the suspect's profile. In addition, testimony from other victims who had survived similar attacks provided additional evidence. The victims recounted gruesome details of how the man approached and attacked them, exactly as he had done to Kara. Within 2 weeks, thanks to close cooperation between investigative units and forensics, the police tracked down the suspect's hideout. The raid was swift and without incident. When confronted with the incontrovertible evidence, the suspect finally bowed his head and admitted his guilt. He said that on the fateful night at Mercy Road, he approached Kara with bad intentions, and that his actions were not the first but a series of crimes. Incredibly, the surveillance footage that was meant to be a traffic safety warning turned out to be the key to solving a horrific murder case. Thanks to it, the truth was revealed, and justice was served, bringing some peace to Kara's family and the other victims.
Typecast. Typecast. Typecast.
Typecast.
Typecast.
Typecast.
Typecast.
Typecast.
Typecast.
Typecast.
The evening of December 29, 1986, became a memorable milestone, not only demonstrating how the media and police can work together effectively to raise public awareness, but also affirming that sometimes it is the smallest details that play a decisive role in solving a case. The video, originally created for traffic safety education purposes, accidentally captured the image of a criminal, helping to open the door to justice. Thanks to the quick and attentive actions of viewers, calls to the police hotline provided important pieces to complete the overall picture. Every detail, from the unusual behavior of the man in the video to the traces at the scene, became irrefutable evidence. The story not only speaks to the power of interagency and community collaboration, but also serves as a reminder that we, as individuals, can help change the course of a major incident. Thanks to public concern, The perpetrator was eventually brought to justice and forced to pay for his crimes, bringing relief and justice to the victims and their families. That fateful night, along with the seemingly insignificant footage, has gone down in history as a symbol of courage, responsibility, and unity in the fight against crime. Flight T901, tragedy turning Antarctica into a tragedy. The story of Air New Zealand Flight T901 that took place on the afternoon of November 28, 1979, was a memorable moment for both passengers and tour guides. Peter Mulgrew, a 52-year-old tour guide, stood firmly at the front of the plane's cabin, the afternoon light reflecting on his face, while his eyes looked out the window, where a vast white landscape stretched out to infinity. The majestic natural landscape of Antarctica, with its icy mountains and cold winds blowing through, created a perfect picture. In this moment, Peter Mulgrew, who had extensive experience on many similar sightseeing flights, knew that today's flight would leave a deep impression on every passenger. As he took the microphone and announced to the 237 passengers that they were flying over Antarctica, the atmosphere in the cabin immediately became animated. Excited eyes turned to the windows while cameras were quickly pulled out to capture the moment. Some passengers even stood up and squeezed through the aisles to find the perfect angle, trying to capture the stunning view outside. However, this behavior was completely in line with the purpose of the flight, a special sightseeing flight of Air New Zealand. Unlike regular commercial flights, where passengers must adhere to strict safety regulations, Flight T901 was specifically designed to give passengers a unique opportunity to admire the majestic beauty of Antarctica from above. Everyone on board was part of this magical journey, and moving around the cabin to find the best view was not prohibited. Flight T901 regularly departs from New Zealand, taking passengers over Antarctica on a dramatic tour. Guided by Peter Mulgrew, the highlights include the icebergs, the unique Antarctic flora, and other breathtaking sights. For Peter, who has flown many similar flights, this is not the first time he has led passengers on such a tour. He is familiar with the reactions of passengers, from excitement, surprise, to joy at witnessing the planet's majestic beauty. Peter is also very familiar with the ideal time to look out the window, from which he can point passengers to the best vantage points where the beauty of Antarctica is at its best. As the story continues, the atmosphere in the cabin of Air New Zealand Flight T901 becomes more lively and exciting as passengers continue to enjoy the wonderful scenery of Antarctica. Peter Mulgrew's announcements are like a guide to take them on a magical journey through the vast and wild space of this planet. When Peter mentions the beautiful scenery of the Antarctic coast, the whole cabin suddenly becomes bustling. Cameras are raised, trying to capture every precious moment. Lenses touch the windows to capture every detail of the snow-covered beach, creating a beautiful natural picture. Nothing can compare. The sound of taking pictures, laughing, and excited comments from passengers echo throughout the cabin. Some people can't even contain their excitement, standing up or moving around the cabin to find the best view. This is completely normal on a sightseeing flight like this, where freedom and relaxation are an indispensable part. A few minutes later, Peter made another announcement, this time directing the passengers' attention to the right. Now, if you look to your right, you will see Mount Erebus, a huge and beautiful mountain. His words immediately attracted the attention of the passengers. Curious eyes immediately turned to the right side of the plane. Mount Erebus, the famous volcano of Antarctica, towered before their eyes, like a giant rock wall, covered in white snow. This mountain was not only notable for its enormous size, but also because it was one of the largest active volcanoes in the world, bringing a majestic yet dangerous beauty. The passengers, unable to contain their surprise, all gasped at the sight. The thin smoke wafted from the mountain's mouth, making the atmosphere even more mysterious and majestic. This scene was a completely different experience, making everyone feel as if they were entering a completely new world, where nature still retained its wild and majestic beauty. The view of Mount Erebus, with its stunning beauty and dangerous aura, will surely be one of the unforgettable memories in the lives of those who participate in this flight. Mount Erebus, with its ceaseless volcanic activity as a powerful symbol of the power of nature, is not only the highlight of the tour, but also a testament to the wild and dangerous beauty of Antarctica, which humans can only admire from a safe distance. The scene at that moment was one of chaos and fear. The passengers, who were still busy taking pictures, had no idea that in just a second, everything would change forever. The violent shaking occurred suddenly, causing some to lose their balance and hastily grab onto their seats or any surrounding surface to try to hold on. The air in the cabin suddenly dropped, creating a strange and terrifying feeling. At that moment, a passenger on the right side quickly took a photo of the window, but it turned out to be a strange photo with faint black streaks appearing. These streaks were later identified as engine oil or soot from Mount Erebus, a worrying sign that no one could immediately recognize. Surprisingly, according to the flight plan, the plane was supposed to maintain a safe distance when circling the volcano for observation. However, a serious error in flight planning led to the inevitable. Instead of maintaining a safe distance, Flight 901 crashed head-on into the mountain. The pilot and crew, though experienced, did not realize the problem until it was too late. In a split second, the plane crashed into the face of the volcano at a terrifying speed, resulting in a terrible crash. The impact was so fast and violent that no one could have saved the situation. All 237 passengers and crew were killed, leaving behind immeasurable tragedy. This accident is a stark reminder of the importance of following safety procedures and planning properly on every flight, and of the pain these losses cause to family, friends, and the community. A moment of carelessness can change everything forever. The crash of Flight 901 became the worst aviation disaster in New Zealand's history. Subsequent investigations found that the main cause was a failure to plan the flight path, along with a failure in the warning system. Air New Zealand immediately suspended all similar sightseeing flights, ending an era of exciting but potentially dangerous air travel. The memory of Flight 901 remains painful in the hearts of New Zealanders and the aviation industry worldwide. The story is a reminder of the importance of safety and precision in aviation, where even the smallest mistake can have dire consequences. The tragic story of Barbara Kent and the girls in the July snow. At 5:30 a.m. on July 16, 1945, a strange event occurred in a remote area of New Mexico. Barbara Kent, a 13-year-old girl, and 9 of her friends were attending a summer dance camp in a small cabin near a river. The quiet summer night was broken by a loud bang, the sound shaking the entire cabin. Barbara woke up with a start, thrown to the floor. She looked around, bewildered, only to find her roommates also in a state of confusion, some of them falling out of bed, scared and panicking. The camp director, running into the cabin, reassured the girls that a heater in the cabin might have exploded, creating a fire hazard. All the girls rushed outside, standing by the river waiting, trying to find signs of smoke or fire. But something strange happened. As Barbara raised her head, She noticed white snowflakes falling, gently landing on her face and hands. It was impossible to have snow in July in New Mexico. But here, before her and her friends, it was inexplicably falling. A short, lived joy in an unusual phenomenon. After confirming that there was no fire hazard, the camp instructor allowed the girls to enjoy this special moment. Barbara and her friends quickly changed into their swimsuits and dove into the cool river while snow fell heavily on their heads. They laughed, took pictures, and enjoyed what they believed to be a rare, unprecedented natural phenomenon. Snow began to accumulate on the riverbank, and the girls happily made snowballs, rubbing it on their faces, feeling the coolness. One particular photo was taken by the dance instructor. The photo showed Barbara standing in the middle of the river, smiling brightly, her eyes shining with joy. Little did she know that this beautiful moment carried with it a deadly danger. The tragic truth gradually revealed. The summer camp ended. The girls returned home with fond memories. However, 17 years later, when Barbara was an adult, a horrifying truth began to emerge. The girls who had attended the summer camp with her died one by one from aggressive forms of cancer. Barbara was the only survivor, but she could not understand why she was the only one spared. It was not until 2006, when Barbara was in her 70s, that the U.S. government officially acknowledged the truth. On July 16, 1945, the explosion the girls heard was not from an exploding fireplace, but from the Trinity test, the world's first atomic bomb, part of the Manhattan Project. The test site was only 40 miles from the girls' cabin, and the nuclear fallout from the explosion spread, falling all over the area. The snow that Barbara and her friends played with was actually radioactive dust, carrying toxic substances that prevented most of the girls from living past the age of 30. Barbara Kent, a living witness. Although fortunate to have survived, Barbara suffered from a number of illnesses related to radiation exposure. She became a living witness to the horrific consequences of the Trinity test. The photo of Barbara standing in the middle of a river, smiling innocently in the deadly snow, became a symbol of the government's failure to protect civilians from the effects of nuclear weapons. Barbara Kent not only survived, but used her story to raise awareness of the consequences of nuclear weapons. However, the shadow of that fateful summer of 1945 will forever be etched in her mind, a painful reminder of the price of military technological advances.